Okay, so just about there now. We'll start climbing Farm Hill. This is the entrance to, let me turn around so you can see what I'm talking about. Don't look at my mug. This is the entrance to what was Prestwich Wood, which is an old property owned by the Milne family. They owned all the land around here from Clifton Lane, wherever I am, towards St Mary's down to Waterdale. They were the massive landowners and they sold all the land up here to so they could build the asylum, the Prestwich Hospital. People working their allotments today. So this path predates the hospital. Would have in fact just carried on as a little cart track straight ahead through that wall. Up there is now a new housing estate round the back of Tesco's. The path would have gone up there. It did also go across here to Oxgap, because Oxgap was an important place. Marked a boundary between Pilkington and Prestwich, but also was a, like it says, a gap. It was a through you could go through the boundary, which was a pale around Pilkington Park. The pale was a earthen mound dug around, piled up along the border, and on top of it would be a wooden fence-like structure. Oh, it is uphill. I am climbing. This is Farm Hill. This was the farm for the hospital. We've got hospital cottages here. I'll just stop talking because they might be asleep. Right, oh, sneak through here. Right, adhering to all local bylaws. Didn't bring my motorbike. Now, over here was the site of the church for the asylum and the hospital, long since gone. Oh, hang on. Morning.
Morning.
So here we go under the road down from the main hospital to the annex, or the isolation unit, or the secure unit, depending on how you want to call it. We have a little underpass to maintain the footpath. The footpath here from the cottages down to Oxgap was actually the subject of a right-of-way dispute when the man looking after the land for the Lord Earl of Derby blocked the footpath to stop people using it. So people used it even more, and it ended up in the papers and in the courts. There we go, managed to get through that in one piece. Can be a bit dingy, but it looks like it's been cleaned out lately. Right, Lucy, let me take you off here so you can wreak havoc. Go forth. That right-of-way dispute was in 1867, and it was between a Mr. Winterbottom. He was trying to walk the path between Pilkington and Prestwich, and Mr. Statter, the Earl of Derby's man, trying to stop people. So here we are above Ox Gap. There's a spring or a stream comes down here from Farm Hill. There's a brook, Bradley Brook, comes down from beside Tesco's, behind the petrol station at the motorway junction, or behind TGI's. That's Bradley Brook that comes down the wood. And this is Clough. So there's Bradley Brook in Clough. And then there's another clough straight opposite called Clough. That Clough is a property that stands on the far side of the motorway still. Well, I don't know about still, it's under houses now. But it survived the motorway anyway, but then housing took it away. So here we are at Ox Gap. So there's a path that goes up and over the motorway that way. That clough, Haworth Clough, straight ahead of us, was the clough that the 8 arches once stood over. If you've ever seen pictures of that being blown up by the TA, I think it was, or the sappers. This path here, as you can tell, it was all dug up and relaid. There's a big drain pipe that goes underneath this path now. So this is Haworth's Clough. Like I say, it had 8 arches that passed over it further up. It just gets culverted under the motorway now. And there used to be a path up there on the Phyllis Park side. It'll take you up to the motorway. So there's a path up to Haworth's Clough. So you've got Farm Hill straight ahead of us. Off to the left is the path alongside Bradley Brook and Clough, which takes you up to where Hardman's Fold is, or was. Now, Phyllis Park had 4 lodges, north, south, east, west. So we're up here, we're at the East Lodge, where it used to be, and there was a North Lodge, an old cottage house there that was demolished. Then there was a lodge down at Kingfisher, there was the West Lodge, and then a lodge at the White Gate, which they redid the foundations of at some point. So Bradley Brook marks the boundary between Prestwich and Pilkington, as it was. Now you can see here there's still some brickwork of the foundations of where the lodge stood. Now the pale I mentioned ran alongside the edge of Pilkington Park. The park was a medieval enclosure. They allowed hunting, so there'd be various game and deer, and the pale would allow to keep the deer inside the park. and it also had something called a leap, or leaps, which would allow the deer to jump in over the pale, would knock it out. So it's a bit like a ha-ha. Just trying to see if there's any sign of the pale down here. Let's have a look. I don't rightly see anything. Oh, it's getting muddy. I think it's nearer the path, to be honest. Quite a few people out walking today. Trying to stay clear of them. Oh, I'm on the wrong side of all the mud now. Right, let's get back. Go on, Liz. So Phillips Park was a park for hunting. Stand gets its name from a building that was put there, a stand where the gentlemen out on their hunting day would stand and wait for the game to be sent their way, or where they'd take a nice break and a cup of tea before they started their afternoon of hunting. That's where Stand got its name from. The park stopped being a park really when agriculture came along and people realised you could make more money out of being a farm. So this area was actually drained. You see, oh well, you couldn't really see, but I could. It's quite muddy. It was drained and became a potato farm. Of all things, potatoes. This has all been ravaged by the new pipe they've put in. Don't know if we'll see the pale. Might be a bit ahead. Let's keep going. But the owners of the park diversified. They went into farming. Ended up going bankrupt though in the 17th century. And a certain Mr. Phillips bought the park. Thing is, you don't know whether you're looking at just a modern pile of dirt or a medieval park enclosure. You see that mound there? It's broken here, and then there's a mound there. So that would be the embankment. There was a pale. Well, the pale you have to have three things to be a pale. You'd have a ground embankment like that. You'd have a wooden fence or palisade on top of it, and of course you have to have some game to keep in. So this is this embankment here. Let's see if we can sneak off along it. This would have had a wooden palisade or fence on top of it. Again, it's lost over there, but you can make it out there, I think. It's lost a lovely little flowers. No good at remembering names of flowers and things. I can't see the wild garlic yet. Certainly can't smell it. It's not seasoned yet, is it? I don't think. There is lots of bloody Himalayan balsam saplings all over this. An invasive species all the way from the Himalayas. I can't find any wild garlic. Where is it? Follow my nose. The stream, of course, has wound its way through various routes over the centuries. Man's tried to keep it where it wants it, so you get various points where there's structures to try and tame the stream, but here you can see it's recently been blocked by trees. Recently, don't know when was Storm Desmond, 2012? Anyway, it's been worn away a few times since then. Well, some of the structures are still here, trying to tame nature, as we always do, and failing really impressively. I don't think I'm really going to go much further down here. I want to head back up. See there's a bit of tip. It's all brickwork. Looks a bit like ash, but I think it's just brickwork. The asylum annex, the hospital annex, is up above us there. Just see this. Is this garlic that hasn't flowered yet? I don't know. Doesn't smell like it. I don't know. Is it the flower that actually smells of garlic? The actual clove? Of course, the botanists used to love coming down here. The naturalists with Prestwich. I'm going to head back up. You can see how it's been channeled down here. We can do Waterdale another day if we want, but not today. Come on, Luce. There's been quite a scar put in by that pipe, and they've kind of laid a path, but it's a massive path in addition to the one we've already got. I think it's a squirrel. It seems to have like a fungal fairy wing. I think it was a squirrel. There we go now. There you go. So this pile of soil is just a pile of soil. It's not a pail. Well, luckily they kept a little bit there, probably by accident. Probably not knowing where their big digger's going. You can see it in there in the woods. I think it had a pail all the way up near Clough and along the south side, along the south of Phillips Park, as you know it today, up towards the northern lodge, towards Outwood, I suppose. There's quite a bit of stone been dropped on the bottom there. And this clough was made quite ornamental by the Victorians, just like Prestwich Clough itself was. So you'll see some old postcards of Prestwich Clough and Mere Clough and the Edwardians in the finery, Sunday best, having a walk. There's similar to Prestwich Clough, in Mere Clough we have numbered posts as well. They're not for the they're not for the Edwardian postcards or anything. These, ironically, if you're looking at this now, is a tree trail. So this is number 9. I've got the leaflet, I'll post a link to it. I hope that wasn't the tree that was on the trail, because there's a bit of it there and there's a pile of it there. But anyway, there is a tree trail. There's lots of birds down here today as well, they must be loving it at the moment. I suppose they love it all the time. So I think there's a lot of hospital tip work going up the banks up there. We'll see some in a bit. We're going to go up along Bradley Brook towards the petrol station now. See what we see up there. I should have brought my glasses so I can read all your comments. It's too small on the screen. I don't know where the bird feeder is. I'll have to find that. On the right. Oh. 2 benches on the left. I've just been there, haven't I? Next, 2 benches. I had 2 benches and a squirrel. I'll find it next time. So we're here back at Ox Gap, and the site of the lodge. So I've shown you there's some brickwork at the front. I don't think there's anything else to see of it. But from this lodge, the path would go up here, and it goes across Phillips Park up to the main drive. You know, just as you get to the stables on the main drive into Phillips Park, the road kind of has a one-way system, and there's a little cross connect, almost like the points on a railway system. There's a little cross connect between the 2 one-way tracks. I think this is garlic, isn't it? It's not out yet. Looks like garlic on the brickwork. Where was I? Does anybody remember what I was talking about then? Oh, bike lists. Morning. Out of the way, Luce. Come on. Alright. So just one of them. Should we take our chances? Let's go. Let's go. Come on. What was I saying? Going up Bradley Brook. Oh, the path. Yeah, where the little crossover is at Phillips Park outside the stables. That's where the path came across the field. The big muddy field there. What's it called? Can you remember the name of the field? I can't. We used to cross over that field, and that'd be one of the carriageways into the hall. Little camp. This is very nice. So this is the path up Mere Clough. There's a sunken path down there, and I think there's a bit of a raised one here, and there's a bit of a mound there. That could be the pale. Not sure if it came up this far. Certainly I'm still in Pilkington, I'm over the border. You can see here there's various lumps and bumps, pathways. Could just be Victorian, could be medieval. Oh. No sure we can get any further that way, Luce. Come on, let's give it a go. No matter where you go, there's always a plastic bottle. Oh, cobwebs. You always know you're the first of the day along the path when you get a face full of cobwebs. So there's the path actually going up the Prestwich side of near Clough. There's the top hospital up there. Signs of pottery all along that bank. And signs of an old pathway with a mound along the edge of it. Looks like a pail to me. Not sure how far we can get up this way, but the dog seems confident. Cobwebs. So you can see the motorway traffic buzzing past over there. Oh. Wherever you go, there's always some cans of lager and some cable. Can't get through that way, Luce. Let's head back. Lucy. So again here, this looks like a pail. There's a gap in it here actually. Could be one of those leaps, or it could just be an old culvert. You can see here there's been a bit of a stream, spring. Doesn't look like much of a culvert. Not much flying out of it today. Let's go back and get on the other side, Luce. This way. Or that could be a leap. Steep, this Clough here. Just looks like a little trickle now, but over the centuries, thousands of years I suppose, it's fallen all the way. There's I suppose you can see it there, there's a porcelain toilet bowl. Something has come out of the hospital. Subsidence. Let's get up here. So again on the left here there's a big ditch and an embankment. There's no pipe work I'm aware of that's coming down here. This has been built up here for a reason, and basically the reason is to keep the game, the deer in the park. The park had also fun with a game like rabbits and so on, and ended up selling rabbits to make some money. But like I say, farming took over. I think there's a Mr. Mason who drained Ox Gap and put a potato field in there. His grave can be found at Stand Church in Whitefield. This way, Luce. Here we are, back on the main path now. Now down here, I always see, I don't know if it's the right time of year for them, horsetail. You know, like those horrible weeds you can get in your garden, and they just break into little pieces, and then you've got two horrible weeds. I think you're supposed to actually report them if you have them, like, you know, as an invasive species. Oh, there's one. Oh, there's a few here actually. These horsetails. I'm no botanist, but these date back millions of years. They've found fossil records of these. I think the botanists, Mr. Buxton, Percival, Horsefield, recorded the horsetails. I'm sure they have a fancy name. Just trying to not lose myself down the gaps. The duck walk's seen a bit of better days. Come on, go on then, Luce. Oh, it's rubbish. Here we go. So there's a lot of railing work and old pot. You can come down here and have a look through it all. Basically always trying to find a nice piece that has a hospital logo on it or something. What we got there? Made in England. If you can find a nice piece with LMH, Lancashire Mental Hospital, as it is called. Sampson and Bridgewood Limited. Lots of glass as well. Not a pastime without risk. Certainly, if you go up on the steep sides, you need to be careful. A bit of brickwork there, but it's just ornamental stuff, I think. Well, basically all the rubbish from the hospital was discarded onto slag heaps down the side of the Clough, and over the year the erosion just washes it all down. Well, you do actually get people turning up and trying to dig their way in these slopes. A bit dangerous, so be careful if that's your idea of fun. Some of it's just building waste. As the hospital expanded, lots of glass bottles, porcelain work from kitchens and bathrooms, a pedestal, fans, door handle. Come on, Luce, this way. Lots of railing work. So this trail, like I say, led across the field to the hall, gave the hall access to Hardman's Fold, which from the 18th century, very new road was created on top of the Roman road. So then that gave the hall access to Manchester and Bury and beyond. It's like a rabbit or badger warren just below that spring outlet we stood on a minute ago. Still lots of fallen trees down here. And they need a new railing at the hospital. They just took the old one down here. These trees are huge. I imagine they make a racket when they go. What's going on down there with this? Motorbikes or just a stream? So we're heading back to civilization now. The door of the motorway. Birds are trying to drown it out, but there's no resisting it. Civilization is coming. Can't be held back. Railing. If anybody needs any railing, this is the place to come. So this led up to Hardman's Fold, which is kind of between, well, it's kind of where the motorway junction is, between there and where the Mayfair was. If you're of an age that remembers where the Mayfair was. Done a lot of clearance work here lately. This is the top of Bradley Brook now. Bradley Brook, of course, after going down Mere Clough, feeds Dam's Head Lodge. Dam's Head Lodge was created about 18th century, I think. They dammed up the stream. Don't look much up here, does it? They dammed it up down there to create a lodge to power the dye works at Waterdale. And then from there it goes, winds its way across the field of Waterdale, past where Mrs. Southern's cottage, a thatched cottage, used to be, and into the Irwell at Bradley Ford. Don't know who Mr. Bradley was, but got his name put on everything. Decimated whatever was over there. I don't think there was much, to be honest. So from the south lodge they could go out towards Salford, cross the river to Clifton. From the west lodge they could from the east lodge they could come up towards Venue Road as it became. So I'm just getting rid of Lucy's mess. Oh, somebody else is there. Here all day. Oh. Done. Stick and flick. From the north lodge, the main road entrance into the park today, that'd go up towards Stand. Well, it goes up towards where the golf course is at Whitefield. Higher Lane. Lucy, come here. Don't go wandering off. Come here. And the south lodge, of course, where the White Gate is, they'd go down Drinkwater, Agecroft, and into Salford, Old Town, that way. Lucy, let's put you on now. We're nearly done, darling. Stay, stay, stay. Let me get you on here, just like a good, if slightly muddy dog. Oh, no, stop. Good girl. Don't know why I'm saying good, I said stop about 10 times then. So, here we come to the end of the trip to Oxgap, and we're at TGI's travelling car park around the back of the Shell garage, and we're done. Mobiles not allowed on the petrol forecourt, so I'll turn it off and go home and get the hose pipe on the dog by the looks of it. What do you think, Lucy? What do you think? Say bye bye then. Bye.